on.
Yeah, I know.
The most pertinent one for this country.
Yeah. Let me pull up the how'd you guys do on the pre-quiz?
10 out of 14. I kind
I
of
think I got them
rushed through
all.
it. I didn't take as much time as I probably could have.
How you guys feeling for the final?
Pretty good. It shouldn't be too
All
bad.
right.
How'd you guys do on
Same.
the last test?
I went through all the previous was it check your understanding quizzes in the group quiz and like took notes on some of the stuff,
Yeah.
like put them on the note card and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I did, was just review the quizzes as they were the most like the actual.
Honestly, I was trying to look up an answer for a problem that I missed on one of the quizzes, and I found an entire study guide for the exam that had a lot of the questions from the exam on it, which they were just the quiz questions, so I didn't feel too bad about it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's pretty much what the test is. I think I just go through the quiz questions a lot and then I'll look up those terms in the book and I'll try and write everything as small as I can on my note card, or at least
Yeah,
uh,
gotta master that like 1 inch writing or like 1 millimeter writing.
that's
pretty
right.
much.
You guys ready to get started on this quiz?
Yep.
Uh, here's been
Yeah, we're not waiting for Misael.
He
I didn't
shows
get a
up and he shows
response
up.
from him. I didn't get a response from him. If he shows up in the meeting though, we can put him on as participant. But did you guys get
Okay.
a response from him in the I didn't see him in the group chat.
Mm-mm.
Maybe since it's the
Yeah,
last one, he's like, eh. I don't know.
could be.
All right. So each person leads a discussion on one or two pages in the textbook. What
Mm.
pages though?
Guess whatever pages we want.
All right. Do you want me to just start real quick and then
Yeah, 1 second. I forgot to open up the textbook, so you can go ahead as I'm opening it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's loading real quick. You know how it is.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go to page 476?
Yep.
All right, so it's obviously it's saying what explains increasing obesity, and they talk about genetics and the food industry. And it talks about how some people are genetically predisposed to being heavy, while others are predisposed to being thin, which I've seen that. Um, I think some people are built differently. Um, and then I thought what they talked about the food industry, they talked about how um, some journalists said that unchecked capitalism is unhealthy, which I don't know if I agree with that, but I do think that we do need to find a way to make healthy food cheaper because at the end of the day, people have their free agency, but I'd be curious to see what kind of food people would buy if the prices were the same. Like if healthy food was
Yeah.
just as much as cheaper food, because I think some people get it out of convenience, but I also think unhealthy food is also addicting because I mean, just think it's hard when you start eating chocolate, it's hard to stop. So, it's super addicting
Yeah.
and it's like a drug.
Yeah, but
So,
a lot of like healthy foods do tend to be more expensive because they market themselves as healthy foods. Kind of like how, what is it? Vegan products get labeled, oh, we're vegan, non-GMO, and they mark up the price like 10%. And so it becomes like more expensive to eat, quote unquote,
Well,
healthier because of the marketing.
you don't, it's not just prices too, it's also convenience, right? because
it's
it's a
true.
lot easier to go get McDonald's down the street than it is to cook your own meal. And so as a college student, sometimes that's what I have to do because I don't have time to make a full dinner, right? And I feel like a lot of people run into that too, where it's just easier, it's more convenient. And so, like, even if we change the prices, I do think some people would start eating healthier, but what is that cost of convenience as well?
Yeah, I think I'd be interested. I think it would be interesting to see if, like, there are some restaurants that are quick and healthy, but they're not always cheap. Like, I think Jimmy John's is pretty convenient, but it's not always super cheap like McDonald's. Um,
Yeah.
do
And
you guys?
also,
Oh, sorry.
also I was just gonna say, like, yes, there are some healthier restaurants that are quicker, but I like don't think they're as quick as a Little Caesars Pizza or McDonald's drive-through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think? Oh, writing this real quick. So, do you guys think that there's really a solution to fixing obesity, or you think it's more of a free agency thing where we just have to let people eat what they're going to eat?
I
You
mean, I
know?
think it's partly a like price is a part of it, right? I'm not going to deny that. Nor is convenience and agency in that, that's also a part of it as well. I think one of the biggest things though is education on health and how to eat healthy. Because the people who, people will say, oh, it's not on the schools to teach that. Well, the parents aren't teaching it very well either to their kids, either because they can't afford to get their kids to eat healthy, or they just don't have that education to teach their kids to be healthy. So it's kind of like you have to start with the schools before you could get that trickle down effect of, oh, then we could have the parents teach it. Because if no one has the education outside of like doctors who like went to college graduate, degrees, you're always going to fall behind on the education of it. Like I remember trying to be taught like the food pyramid and they gave like a 2-minute lesson on it and then I would just completely forget it. There's no big, you know, education on until like I guess high school with like an elective of like nutrition or like food science and whatnot. It's like they give bare bones in elementary, middle school, and in high school even. So I think a big one of the bigger parts of it is just education on what eating healthy is and how that works.
Yeah, it's
You
also
know,
kind of tough because a lot of vegetables are just nasty. You
Not
guys
if you put
think,
enough butter on them.
yeah, I mean, you guys might think differently, but I just think like a lot of vegetables, like I have to make
uh,
myself eat it because I don't enjoy it.
yeah, no, I get it. Like I'm very picky when it comes to vegetable. I'm very big on textures, and a lot
Yeah,
of vegetables don't have any textures that I like. So like I like overcook, I guess, a lot of vegetables because it makes them softer and eases the texture of them for the
yeah,
most part. So I do get particular, and I don't eat as many or as varied vegetables. Like I'll make like a whole bunch of, bell peppers, mushrooms, and green beans, but I don't really vary much outside of that.
yeah. I used to make
So,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I used to make like fruit smoothies and then I'd throw some spinach in there and you couldn't even taste it. I'm like, well, I ate it and I didn't taste it. So win-win.
If you season veggies enough, they're actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Like
I
zucchini,
just can't do a salad.
yeah, that's fine. But like zucchini, you melt or you cook it in the microwave with like just a little bit of butter. You slather it in salt and pepper. It's really good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'll
So
have to try that out then.
I
it's
love
delicious.
salad though. I think Caesar salad. I know dressing isn't super healthy, but whatever. I'm still eating
It's what
salad.
makes salads worse than like a Big Mac in calories. This is the dressing.
Yeah. Do you guys, what pages do you guys want to talk about?
Um,
Each person lead a discussion on a page or two, so we can get out of the way.
I
I think
guess
one of the big things, I guess, that's like part of the 1476 was in the textbook. It doesn't really talk about, yeah, like socioeconomic causes of obesity. It just kind of talks about like the food industry from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think they do socioeconomic, but probably on another page.
So I guess what I
Yeah.
could talk about is just the obesity caused by less movement, right? How 150 years ago we had a ton of jobs that were super demanding and required a lot of movement. Nowadays, most jobs are desk jobs. Um, and that's a huge lifestyle change. You're not moving around as much, you're not getting out as much, you are sitting down all day, every day, and it can be hard to find the time or the motivation to move. So, yeah, that's just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. A lot of jobs are, there's a lot of sit down jobs. A lot of the jobs I've done the past 2 years have been really physical though, so I haven't, um, but yeah, I think a lot of people sitting all day, and do you guys also think increased stress might be causing people to eat more and
Yeah, even if it's not
Absolutely.
stress itself, stress eating is a thing as
yeah,
Mhm.
well. So you get a whole bunch of, people in a recession buying a whole bunch of junk food and stress eating, ooh, the way the current economy is with like houses. Yeah, I can see it being a big, part of it as well. There's just a whole lot of factors. It's like not one thing. It's a whole slew of things that all come together in a bad storm.
yeah. So you guys think that I mean, because I wonder, because people like had to have been stressed back then too. Do you think did like stress ate back then, or do you think it wasn't as big of a thing as it is now? Because there's more
Well, I
food.
mean, depending on how far back you go, you can't stress eat if you're too poor to buy a single grain of wheat type thing, or
Well,
you didn't have access to the same processed foods that most stress eating is now. Like, say, nowadays people stress eat, they get a tub of ice cream,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Whereas 100 years ago, not like too recent, but not too far back, they didn't really have the same amount of processed sweets. So stress eating was you ate a bunch of salad or some like a bunch of protein, not crazy unhealthy, but more
yeah,
calories than usual.
mhm,
stress eat a bunch of bread and yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. Just like me, I'm sure there was stress eating, but also like the foods that they were stress eating aren't really those like sugary addicting foods, right?
It's not like a bunch of cookies, right?
Right? Most people couldn't stress eat a lot of that stuff. And I feel like that's a part of why we stress eat is because of it is that sugary, it's kind of like a self-soothing kind of thing. Um, like chocolate, it's proven to actually make you happier and boost your mood. So there's a reason why people stress eat it. So, um, yeah, I'm sure
uh,
it was a thing for some people, but also it was different kinds of foods, and I bet you that those foods weren't as fun to stress eat.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we live in
chocolate.
a world of hyper processed foods, which is a big part of the problem.
Yep, I gotta say I do love chocolate. So
Don't we all?
maybe it
I
would be
think we
better
kind
if I
of
was allergic to it because that would be good for me.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my section.
All right, you want to do yours real quick, Ethan?
Um, Nothing really stood out for me. Let me go look and see what pops out. I didn't really have anything. I guess one thing is they talk about social networks
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I was kind of like, yeah, there is kind of a lot of social media um reflection in real life. Even if it's like against obesity, there's a lot of like either pro sentiment where it's okay to be obese, or a lot of people who, you're a little overweight and they say you're ugly type thing. And, it very divides the whole uh, situation, I guess, as well, when it talks about uh, how social media and other social networks work in today's age, where people can connect with a whole bunch of other people and varying opinions, especially with like a whole bunch of social media accounts that base themselves on, quote unquote, health science and how to eat healthy. And they give a whole bunch of stupid tidbits to get you to pay into a diet plan that, you have to subscribe to him for to get the secret, weight loss program as well. So there's a whole bunch of culture and stuff that goes on in social media about this as well.
Do you think social media also helps influence obesity? You said like it'll. Do you think it makes it
Uh,
more acceptable too? Because you know what I
yeah,
mean?
in recent years there has been a lot of like movements about like acceptance of it that I
Yeah.
don't like agree with fully with some like with a lot of their stances
Well, yeah,
and whatnot. They kind of glorify it when it really shouldn't be glorified as much as it is.
I mean, I think the message on there should be nice to people, but like, I think the main issue with obesity is just really unhealthy and it's harmful to people, and you shouldn't, you know, like glorify it like you said, but you should be nice to people who struggle with that. So I think they should change
Yeah,
the message on that a little bit. But yeah,
right. Like an example of that would be you support, a person who's overweight at the gym, and kind of root them on, but don't like make excuses, for them, right? If they're trying to like get better, you don't push them down, right? You support them.
yeah. Yeah, I think some people like to make fun of the fat person at the gym. Or like, isn't that what the gym's for though? Like, doesn't matter. I think everyone's in a different spot. So, all right, that sounds good. It looks like we all got our response.
Yeah.
So you guys, I guess I'll start with, did you guys type up what you needed to on that one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, so
I guess I'll,
question, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna do question two.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rise in body weight over the past several decades.
It's number 2.
Number two.
Did you get
You
that one?
can find that from page 474, last paragraph. Obesity and body weight have been rising over a long period of time and in every developed nation on Earth.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'll take this one. In terms of medical costs, obesity,
It's the
uh,
first one.
causes higher career costs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also that one. It mentions it of where they did studies and they wanted to see if they adjusted for like a shorter lifespan, like higher cost but shorter lifespan, like evened it out. And they found that even with like a shorter lifespan, they're still spending so much that it still increases the costs of like other people. I think it was. I can't remember the page, but I do remember reading about it.
Which one of the following is a proposed explanation for obesity in your textbook? Having a hard time with this one because it's like 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, genetics, I think they said is in part, but I think number two, like you said, and I could also see number four because improvements in agricultural technology, so there's more processed foods. And so let me just look.
Well,
Causes
Well, like on page 476 under genetics, the first line is there is good evidence that genetics plays a key role in determining body weight for both children and adults.
Yeah. It, it
Oh,
well,
no.
it cannot
There's
be the reason for rising.
yeah, just saw
Not that
that.
it change. Another theory is the food industry.
Yeah.
Series in advance. We've already seen evidence that the so is there a food industry one? Increased food choices.
There's food price.
Yeah, there's food price. The only theory that explains all the data we've discussed puts prices in the central role. Together changes in three sets of relative price. Price of food, physical activity, explain all these key facts. Since the end of World War II, the price of food relative to other goods has been declining.
So it can't be that one because that says
Ah,
World War One.
I know.
Is that a trick? Was that a trick question right there?
Trick
Gotta
question
be
or a
true.
typo?
I know.
Oh,
If that's a typo, he needs to give us that one, but it's gotta be
yeah,
number.
yeah.
So, are we saying that it's
No, I kind of want to come back to that. You guys, are you cool with that, guys?
Yeah,
yeah?
I feel like it's kind of everything there it mentions.
It should be number three, but like Kylie said, that might be a typo. I mean, seriously,
Is
that's
it not number two?
increased food choices in the form of I mean, I think so, but the textbook says number three exactly, except it's World War II. And like you said, I'm wondering if that's a typo.
Well, if it is, we should send an email off to him afterwards and just say, "Hey, that said World War One."
Oh
And I
no,
think we could get the points back.
here it is. This price decline has been driven by remarkable improvements in the technology of agriculture.
Okay.
It's number
So it's
It's
three.
last.
agriculture.
Yep.
You know
Very
what? That makes sense. So it's the last one.
yes.
Okay. Obesity has been shown to be correlated to all the following except
I put the last one.
Yeah, me too.
yeah. That makes sense. Because
Uh,
it's the opposite, right?
Yeah. Then is it my turn to read?
I think so.
Body mass index, and I put the first one. I got this on the quiz.
I agree.
Yeah.
Number seven, Japan increased health insurance premiums for citizens with waistlines larger than certain size. I did not get it, but I put true because that sounds like something they would do.
Mm-mm.
Did you guys get that one on the quiz? Let's just do it.
No.
Search for Japan in here.
So wait, which one was it, did you say?
I put true, but I'm looking it up.
I mean, I know in America, I think they do that.
Really?
Like if you're like the heavier you are, I think they do increase your insurance.
Hold on, I think I almost have it here. Yep, it's true.
It's
On
true.
page 490, it said Japan started charging higher health insurance premiums for citizens with waistlines larger than a certain threshold.
That's funny.
That's funny.
I'm not surprised. They have a culture of being thin.
All
Okay,
right.
so is it back to me now?
I think so, yeah.
A known contributing factor for obesity is
I put number two.
Me too.
having obese friends. I
I
had that question and I think
I had that
I put like
question. I got it
having
right.
generous health insurance and I got it wrong.
Yeah, so I got that question too, and I put the number two and got it correct.
all right.
Okay, why would it be close friends? Just because it
Because I think,
Lifestyle.
yeah, they influence
just a
your
lifestyle?
choices.
Ah,
They also said, they also talked about family, like families, I guess they said spreading obesity because they said, and this isn't always the case, but people who are healthier tend to marry each other and people who are obese tend to marry each other and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's just
Like I can kind of see that. So like if a obese parent has a child, they'll usually feed them like the same kind of diet, and so
yeah, and
they kind of
their
raise a kid who's overweight.
they'll see their habits too, and since they're genetically similar, they'll probably have some similar desires.
Yeah.
All right, I'm submitting the quiz. Is my mic still muted?
No, you're still good.
Oh, okay.
All right, we got 100, I think. Yeah.
Sweet.
All
Let's
right, good
go.
job, guys. That was the
Sad me
last.
and Misal couldn't come. I hope he didn't think that we were supposed to start at like 9:30 and didn't realize we started at 9.
Hey. Oh well.
We texted, so yeah, did our best.
Yeah,
Okay.
But yeah, good luck to you guys. I think this is the last meeting.
it is.
Yep.
Good luck to you guys too.
All right, I'll go ahead and send this recording when it uploads, and yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right.
See you
Bye.
guys.